As far as horror movie goes, there aren't many new ones that come out nowadays that have me thinking about them all night. You know, the horror movies that make you stay up, be a little afraid of the dark, those kind of films. Longlegs is a new horror film out in theaters now that got that sort of reaction out of me. Longlegs is essentially the story of a serial killer going out and killing families, and it follows our lead actress, an FBI agent, as she tries to uncover who exactly this person is and how he's covering up these crimes so efficiently, making it look like he was never even there. I knew basically nothing about this movie going into it. Really, the only background I had was Chris Stuckman's video reviewing it whenever he unveiled that Nicolas Cage was actually the killer in the movie, which I didn't know. I watched one preview, got nothing from it, probably wasn't going to go see it because horror movies aren't exactly my thing. I love tense films, like Get Out is a perfect example of a movie that I absolutely love that's in the horror genre, but I don't do a lot of the body horror, movies where the point is basically to kill people, and that's kind of the impression that I got from the trailer. That is far from the truth, and I am so happy that I watched Chris Stuckman's video, because this movie is a tense thriller through and through. It's one where it's scary throughout the film, but it's just this built-in tension. There aren't really jump scares. There are a collection of them, but it's not what you would imagine from a horror film jump scare, I guess. The entire film is just building up to this culmination. You don't see the killer for probably the first half of the movie, where whenever you finally see Nicolas Cage in his portrayal as Longlegs, it is so unnerving. I think in Chris's review, he said it perfect, where Nicolas Cage is doing Nicolas Cage things in this movie where it's memeable, people can make fun of it, but this movie, it has such good pace and such good tension that I don't think it's that memeable. It's just scary. I'll go ahead and I'll start off with the direction. This movie is excellently helmed. I've never heard of the director before, but they have a very long future in Hollywood. I hope that they continue to make horror movies like this, something that we don't really see a whole lot. The acting in this movie is all fantastic, particularly the performances of Nicolas Cage and Michael Moore. Michael Moore is our main character, and there's definitely something off about her throughout the movie, and the entire time I was trying to figure out, what is this character's deal? She is clearly more involved in this in some way that she doesn't know, and maybe we don't know. I loved her performance. She is such a weirdo in this movie, but Micah was amazing. Nicolas Cage as Longlegs. What can you say about the guy? I love his career resurgence. He had that, collection of 10 years where maybe he was doing direct-to-TV movies, or direct-to-video movies, I should say. But he is just a master at picking out these indie darling movies, involving himself as a producer, as an actor, and going all in, because if you didn't know it was Nicolas Cage, you wouldn't be able to recognize him. I love what he did with the character. He is so freaky looking. Do not see a picture of him before you go into the movie. I had no idea what he looked like. I had no idea what to expect, but it wasn't that. Something that's so important in any movie is sound, particularly with horror movies. I think it's actually one of the most important aspects. This movie's score and sound design is top notch for a good portion of the movie. Whenever Michael Moore, who is kind of psychic in a way, she has a really good intuition, I'll just say that. You get these subtle sound effects that she's hearing that you kind of hear, and it just guides you along the hero's journey. And on top of that, the score just in general does a good job of not being over the top, except for maybe the opening scene. The first 2 minutes, it definitely wants you to jolt out of your seat. It made me, but the sound design and the score, all just fantastic. It really added to the intensity of this film. Now, I said before that certain types of horror films just aren't for me. This film, had I known what exactly it was about, I probably would have been squeamish to go in. If you're someone that doesn't like stuff that deals with the supernatural in a way, this movie might not be for you. It is very horrific. Some of the imagery sticks with you. Last night, whenever I was trying to fall asleep, again, I just got images from this movie, and as I was walking out, I thought to myself, that is a very technically well-made movie that I never need to watch again, but I kind of want to go see it in a theater full of people once more, because just how great it is at some of this horrific imagery to drive in its home while also not being over the top is incredible. But it is a horror film. it deals with subject matter that you don't see in big box office films. I was in a theater full of people. If those people knew what this movie is about, they may have not wanted to come. However, this movie isn't perfect for me. There are a couple of gaping plot holes here that I don't want to dive too deep into, but the killer essentially, he picks out his victims by their birthday, and I just don't understand how one of the other FBI agents in the movie didn't put two and two together. There are supernatural elements to this movie, so maybe there's an explained video that explains all of the random stuff going on in the movie that maybe I didn't catch, that maybe made him blind to this, or maybe our lead character who's a part of that as well. To me, that is the biggest plot hole in this movie, where I don't understand how the FBI agent doesn't do what he can to protect this particular person from the killer, who falls right in line with this pattern that they have uncovered in the movie. I don't really understand it. Maybe, again, there's an explanation that I missed. If you caught something, please leave me a comment and let me know. That's all that I got to say about Longlegs. If you're someone that likes horror movies, if you like a slow burn, if you like just these sort of indie horror movies that don't get a lot of limelight, they don't get a lot of marketing, this is absolutely for you. Insane Nicolas Cage performance. He's outdone himself once more, and I can't wait to see what this director does next. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.